Sorry, Eugene.
Yeah, you missed out my name. I just want to make sure that just in
Oh,
case if you are
okay.
taking
Sorry about that,
attendance.
Eugene. Yeah,
No worries,
yeah.
no worries. Yeah, I just
Are
know
you
that
the
you
one
are.
that I spoke to last year or last when? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yes, I'm the one who you spoke to
Oh,
last year.
okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So this is a big data and text analytics, but the bulk of it is actually on text analytics, because we don't really have a big data environment for you to do the hands-on. So the big data will focus on the last three topics. All right. But this, okay, let me just briefly run through the module objective. Uh, Now, because this is the first time I'm using the MS Teams uh, to deliver, so if you have any questions along the way, let me see. You just unmute and then you just ask. Is it okay? And also for the benefit of others. Yeah. So this is a very brief module objective. So basically, at the end of the module, you will be able to perform a proper and professional text mining process lah. Okay, of course, we are using the SAS. There's a lot of other tools I know. If we have time, which I hope we have, I will introduce you maybe Python in text mining. All right. Yeah. Let's see how it goes. So the process will include the data preparation. All right. How do we because text is unstructured. So how do we actually prepare the data for data mining? Okay. The preparation is very different from what you do in the structured data. Okay. And then, as I mentioned just now, we'll discuss the technology that support the big data analytics, right? Basically the Hadoop and all the map reduce and all those things. Okay. So I'll just move on if there's no question. I will assume that there's no question, then I'll just move on. If you have a question, you just unmute and then ask. Because I can't see your face on my screen. Okay, I just want to help us to have a common understanding of the content of the module. Because this is only 45 hours, so there are certain assumptions that's being made lah, in terms of the depth of the module as well as the scope. So, of course, this is probably I would say a fundamental course in text mining, right? But at the same time, I will also say that it's not really that fundamental as we get through some of the rule-based sentiment analysis, right? Where to define the rules and script to really be effective in doing the sentiment analysis modeling. Okay, so the materials are built based on the zero knowledge. Means participants comes in have zero knowledge of text mining, but have passed the business intelligence module in BDC 1. The reason is because yeah, we still need to. You probably still need to use your enterprise miner, SAS enterprise now to do some data preparation. So I assume that you are quite proficient because I've taught the business intelligence for many rounds, so I know what is the content. Okay. So for the text mining part, the focus will be mainly on the fundamentals text mining. Now, even though we are using SAS, but the emphasis is not really on SAS, it's on the concepts of text mining. So if you learn the concepts, it doesn't matter which tools you use. It's a matter of getting used to a tool. The concept, the process, the interpretation is all the same, all right? We are using SAS because we bought the whole suite of SAS data analytics tool. So we want to make full use of it. And it's also because when we first selected the software, we find that actually a lot of companies, especially the government ministries and the big banks, they're actually using this. So we thought that, yeah, it is good if our students are also ready in terms of the tool when they graduate, right? So there is a rationale behind this, okay? But as the years goes on, there are other tools that comes out, okay? We'll talk about that in a suitable time. So I also understand that from your class profile, some of you have some knowledge on data analytics, which is good. I think I can see one or two who share before me, even before we have the class. I think Michael shared some very good diagrams on the framework and the taxonomy, so-called the taxonomy of the data analytics. So as I mentioned earlier on, this is because we assume there's zero knowledge. So some of the content I may assume that those who have already some knowledge may have find slightly easier. But so I just ask that you you just be patient. Of course, you can contribute as well to the class in the discussion, and that will be helpful. But contribute within the scope of what we are discussing for that particular lesson. That'll be nice. Or you feel that if you're bored, feel free to leave the class. I think it's fine with me. Okay, but just remember that there's still a requirement of the class attendance of 50%. All right, this one the requirement has been like that for last few rounds. That is for face-to-face lah. But I'm not sure about now we are doing on the off-campus mode. So I'm actually finding out what's the status. So I will update you whether this requirement is still valid. Okay. Okay, any questions so far about this? Okay, now I also teach I also teach a full-time. In fact, I've been teaching the Poly for about 15 to 20 years. And also my industry background is about 10 to 12 years. Okay, so you can guess my age. I'm pretty near to retirement. Okay, but my teaching is not continuous. Okay, I started off with teaching, then I went back to industry, then come back to teach in a Poly, another Poly, then went back to industry, and then I come back again. My last job is really on data analytics. So I spent quite a number of years overseas in a BI environment, business intelligence environment, and data analytics. And so when I come back to Singapore, I decided to go back to teach, hopefully at the last phase of my career, right? So here am I. So I probably need to adjust because my expectation of adult learning is that because we're all adults, so my expectation is some kind of independent learning and research, right? On your own, if you want. So that, but anytime you need help, I'm available. So yeah, but okay, so that's roughly. I hope this will help us to have a common understanding and how we interact with one another, okay, as in the class. Maybe I ask a question. How many of you have done text analytics before? Is everybody there?
I have not done that.
Okay, yeah. Feel free to just unmute and say hello or whatever. Yes, otherwise I'm not sure whether I can't see your face. I need to see the person.
Okay. No worries. We'll start doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. So this is just a list of topics just to give you an overview. We have 15 lessons. So the today's lesson is really a bit of revision because you have finished the business intelligence module. So how does it relate back to the module you are doing now, the business analytics? All right. So you also find that there are 5 e-learning lessons. Okay. E-learning lessons, basically, you're on your own. Of course, during the time, do you have e-learning lessons on the other side, predictive analytics? I think should have. The lesson is still on, but you're on your own, but I will be available during those times to answer your questions, right? But there'll be no lecturing, all those things. The materials will all be given and instructions will be given how you assess the e-learning materials. Basically, it's the same as assessing through the Leo. Okay, so like for example, this Thursday, all right, it'll be on the text analytics process and practices and so on. So the lesson, basically from lesson 3 to lesson 5, data collection, text filters. I would say that this is the data preparation phase for text mining. So we are not actually done text mining. We are actually preparing the data for the data mining of the text. Okay. And then from lesson 6 to 9, we are actually applying the data mining techniques on the process texture data, all right, which represents the original corpus of documents. Okay. And then for 10 and 11, which is actually very popular, is how do we analyze the sentiments of text? For example, there's some product launch, and then over a period of time, the company collected feedback, from the social media and so on. So how to make use of that kind of collection of text? How do we identify whether this product launch is successful or not? It's based on whether there are negative or positive feedback. So we are going to see how we can process this. Okay, this will include the rule-based programming or scripting that I talked about just now. And then the last 3 topics, we will have discussion on the big data technologies, right? So we have the volume, how do you process huge volume of data, and not just the variety of data and the speed of the data. We can see that nowadays it's unlike just 10 or 20 years before, that the amount of data that we generate is humongous. Every time we write something on the WhatsApp, actually we are contributing to the global collection of data. Now, lesson 15 is a revision, but I may change okay, because originally this was done before they decided to go online, so there's exam. But for the first time in this course, and also in many courses, we don't have exam. So I'll talk about the assessment at the next slide. Okay. So this is roughly the topics that we're going through. In my personal opinion, it's not that fundamental. It's also not. It's quite advanced actually, right? Yeah. So if we have time, these are just a guide. These are just a guide. But if there's time, I'll try to squeeze in, as I mentioned, maybe just to give a view of some how to start off with text mining using Python. Okay. May I know whether anyone who are familiar with programming?
Yes, familiar with programming.
Okay. Sorry, I can't identify your voice. May I know who you are?
Firdaus, you can call me Fee.
Widows. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks. All right. So the rest not too worry because it's a preview and introduction to you lah. That one will not really be tested, but I thought I'd just give you another tool to chew on. Okay. Any question on the content? Yeah.
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, it's regarding the coursework. There are coursework 1 and coursework 2. Coursework 1
Oh,
is
yeah.
roughly on which
I
lecture?
will come back. It's the next slide, right? Next slide.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll go through on the next slide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit too. You're referring to this, right? Are you referring to this?
Okay. Yes, I saw it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just about talk. So previously there's a coursework 1. Coursework 1 is just normal. Probably I'll give you a data set. So by the time you finish the I think okay, this is a modified one because previously we have a longer period. So the coursework 1 will be up to lesson number 7. Okay, for your batch. Previously it's up to lesson number 9. So lesson number 7 will be up to the data mining technique on clustering. So basically, the coursework 1 will involve data preparation of the data, and from the cluster analysis, identify the themes of what is actually in those documents of the data set. So I'll talk about the coursework 1 maybe at the next lesson. I'm still trying to refine the coursework. Then actually we don't have final submission of coursework final. Previously all the runs we have the exam, but because of the situation we can't gather together, so the management have a discussion and then we standardize to submission. But this is quite a substantial percentage. It's a 60%, right? And because it is quite substantial, so we require the student to do a e-presentation. So the 60% will include both components in the final coursework final. And the dates are spelled there. Okay. Yeah. So any question on this? I know. Just unmute and then just ask the question.
Not for me. Yeah, not for me.
Yeah.
No question.
Okay, that's good.
The question regarding the project. The project involves both modules, right?
Which project you are talking about?
The
The third module.
The third module.
The final one. Okay. Yeah, I have also thought that projects about 5 to 6 rounds. So the project will involve 3 modules: the business intelligence, the predictive, as well as the text. So it's a big one, right? So I understand from your lectures, Xiu Feng, I don't know, Yok Feng, I don't know why you know them. It's either used to be individual project, but we decided to probably help the student by putting them into teams of 2 or 3. Okay. So this project module will start later because we want to finish all the coursework first, the theory first, before we think that it's helpful for the students to start the project. Because previously when we start the project concurrently with the predictive modules and the text mining, the first few weeks are wasted because the students don't have any question to ask because they don't know, they have not completed the curriculum yet. Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that all right?
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the lesson itself. So you can see today is just an intro of what is business analytics, data mining. I know data mining has been discussed in this class, but we'll just run through again and text mining. So a very, very overview, and then just to give you a few of what entails each one of them. So this is the lesson objective. You have completed the business intelligence module. So what exactly is business analytics in relation to business intelligence? To be able to briefly discuss data mining. Now, the data mining techniques that you learn during the predictive is actually exactly applicable to text analytics. Right? You'll find that the techniques are the same because in the text, although it's unstructured, eventually you will find that during the data preparation process, we have to transform the unstructured form into a structured form. And because after the transformation, the text is already in the structured form, then we can apply the text mining techniques, which include clustering. You can also use the decision tree, you know, okay, and the techniques that we normally use for normal data mining. So today we just give an overview what is data mining and why is it important. Okay, along the way, normally I will show one or two videos just to help us to understand a bit better rather than just to hear me talking. Okay. So just a quick recapture. You're familiar with this diagram, right? This diagram basically give us an ideal situation for business intelligence environment. Actually, it's not just business intelligence, it's just a general framework for data analytics, right? So you know that in data analytics, all our data come from the transactional space. Okay, the transactional data are data from the operational systems, which means that those systems that support the daily operation, for example, the Leo, your ATM, every time we work on some of these systems, the data are being captured, right? So these are transactional data, and it's very volatile. Volatile because it is changing, right? Because of the operation that we use it every day. So they are not very suitable for reporting or analysis purposes because of the volatility. Okay, so that's why we need a data warehouse. A data warehouse, basically, I think you have learned, we'll talk about it later on again, is a central depository it's a warehouse where you store all the cleansed, so-called the cleansed and transformed data, right? It's cleansed because all the errors, all the errors and all the missing data or some aggregated data has been transformed and stored in the data in the warehouse for later use. Okay, so the data warehouse is basically also help to resolve what we call the issue of the single version of the truth, right? So if everybody reports on the same source, one and only source, then the report comes out will be consistent and reliable. So if you can see my cursor, so preferably in the text mining or other predictive, we should be getting our data from the data warehouse, ideally. Although in the company don't even have the data warehouse. Okay, so there's this issue of inconsistency. Okay, but not everything goes into the data warehouse because the data that goes into the data warehouse from the transactional space will depends on what kind of reports, what kind of analysis we actually require. Okay, so I think in your BI, you learn about data mark, right? Data mark mo- uh, derived from the dimensional modeling that defines how the certain data analytics question should be answered using the data mark. Okay, so I'm just running through. So when I talk about data mining, is under this component as well. Okay, so let's talk about what is business analytics. Now this term is quite vague, right? So if you go to industry, and some of you are, okay, people use the word business intelligence and business analytics quite interchangeably, and maybe they are right, okay, because okay, in the company, although many company now actually not just do historical reporting, which is actually the BI, many of them actually are trying to find out whether they can do prediction based on historical data. So the activities related to BI and BA, they are actually very blurred. Okay. So just take note of that. Okay, the BI and BA are often used interchangeably in the industry, but we don't really care. Okay, when you apply for a job, you know, we just know that we just say that we have data analytics skills. Okay, but for the purpose of academic discussion, it's good to distinguish between two of them, so that we are clear when we come to our exercises and so on. So basically, to summarize the BA, business analytics and BI, there's a difference. So we are looking at the kind of business questions that are normally asked in BA and BI, and then we'll know the difference. For example, in the business intelligence, okay, we ask what has happened. Okay, so that's in the past, historical, when did it happen, and who is actually affected. So you look at these three business question, generic business question. Okay, it's more, you can see that the focus is more concerned with what has happened in the past. Okay, what is the picture that we get, maybe from visualization that happened in the past. And you look at the question that's normally asked in the business analytics space is the why. Why did it happen? And then a bit of futuristic. Will it happen again? And maybe a more helpful questions will be, what will happen if we change X, okay, the parameter? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I got a message say that my network quality is poor. Okay, thank you very much. So you can see from the question that normally be asked, you can see that the business analytics are more concerned with predictive future. Say again.
Yeah, I can see your voice is a bit muffled.
Okay.
That could be due to your internet connection though.
Okay. Can you just give me a minute? Let me just.
Sure.
Yeah. Are you watching TV or internet? Can you give me a minute? I just reconnect to the
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
different. Yeah. Is it better now?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear for now.
Okay. Actually, I just asked the Singtel man to come and mesh up my house because my two daughters are also working from home, so the bandwidth is shared.
Okay. Yeah, we understand. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I was just saying that the BA has the predictive element. So this is just another way of looking at it, lah. So if you look at this visualization, you find that when we talk about business analytics, we are focusing more on the outer techniques, right? Predictive modeling, data mining, and so on. Okay, and so this, and then the business intelligence which we had done is more on the query reporting visualization. Okay, so this module is actually more advanced, right? Okay.
Can I
So what
ask a question?
happened? Yes, sure.
Yeah, I saw under the business analytics, you cover VA, predictive modeling, right? Data mining, segmentation, and cluster, right? Do you cover experimentation,
Clustering.
simulation, and risk analysis?
Yeah. So we will only be covering clustering, and what we call it's not what is not inside here for text mining is the topic extraction. So topic extraction is to identify the themes in the cluster of documents. Yeah. And maybe categorize them. No? We use clustering mainly for exploratory purpose at the initial stage of our data mining to give us a feel of what is the general profile before we dive into more specific analysis like topic extraction. Yeah,
Okay.
we may. Okay. So, right. So this, I'm just trying to define what business analytics is. It's actually very general, right? Which includes your predictive as well. It's basically, building models based on business questions, and then try to create different models and choose the optimum one, right? So you find that in predictive, okay, and as well as in text, we'll be building a lot of models, and then there's a way to actually identify which is the best model, and we use the best model to do our prediction, right? Or do our analysis. So sometimes we call this machine learning. So machine learning is actually a very generic word. Machine learning is machine learning something. Okay.
Doesn't like fall under AI, right?
Say again.
Fall under artificial intelligence. Machine learning.
Yeah, the AI, artificial intelligence, actually make use of machine learning. Okay, so what happened since you mentioned about AI? I just describe a little bit. The AI actually, the starting point of AI is machine learning. So in AI, they build a model. They start with building a model manually. I mean, manually means using historical data, like what we are going to do. And the next step after that is that the model learn by itself. Okay, using the programming, they program and they learn by itself, and they update the model automatically. But the initial model need to be created manually by human. I mean, using a tool. So this is just a essence of how AI is being, it's called artificial intelligence, because after the first model is being built, they are able to learn and improve as more and more data is being pumped in, as more and more of situation that they encounter. That's why they become more and more intelligent. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is also another perspective. It's the same, just I'm just giving you a few perspective of business analytics. So in BI, we are more reactive, and in BA, we are more proactive. We are trying to predict and optimize the future outcomes, right? This is also another way of describing the different levels of analytics. Okay, so you have done BI probably in the first two layers, first two steps. In the BI, you probably learn, you create graph, you create you use table analysis, because just to tell you what is happening in the past, and maybe you do a bit of correlation to find out the relationship between two variables, right? So that correlation help you to understand or find out why things happen. All right, this why the student do so poorly. Maybe it's because he spent too many hours working outside his school time, right? So there's a relationship between the number of hours he work and the performance. So there is a bit of diagnostic. All right, prescriptive is like what you doing now. Okay, based on the historical data, I do a predictive model, predict a certain outcome. So when the new set of data comes in, new but similar set of data comes in similar to historical data, I can get a prediction, right? Based on the same profile of the historical data. Now, predictive goes even one step further. Okay, after using the predictive, I'm prescriptive. Sorry, prescriptive goes even one step further. So what prescriptive analytics do is, after you make use of the predictive and identify and then come up with outcome, but it go one step further, is that through the historical learning and more data, is able to dig out suitable strategy or solution to help to make a decision. Okay, so that is prescriptive. So for this course, we are only focusing on predictive, even for text as well. Okay, now before business analytics can take place, data need to be mined. Okay, just like mining a gold, that's why it's called mine. And then, so it's important to understand the basic concept of data mining. Do you all cover this in the release class, data mining?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So just I will run through this quite quickly. So when I talk about mining, it gives you the concept of digging, right? So you're mining a gold. So you find that you have to mine, you have to dig a lot of soil before you can find a little tiny piece of gold. So it's the same thing for data mining. When we talk about data mining, we're mining the data to look out for knowledge, right? Look for knowledge, and basically, when we talk about knowledge, it's talking about the discovery of patterns. So not all the data are useful, right? In fact, there's a lot that are not very useful. So we are looking for those patterns of data that will give us a certain insight to help us to make a decision and to predict the future. Right, so just to help us a little bit on what actually is data mining, what activity is data mining and what is not. Okay, for example, if I'm looking at the phone number in the phone directory, right? That's not data mining. That's just trying to search for something, all right? But if I look into the phone directory and I find that, for a lot of times live in Avenue 3 or Woodlands, so there's a certain pattern, right? There's a certain pattern. And this pattern maybe helps me a little bit to build a bit of prediction. Says, for example, if the next Tan family were to move into Woodlands, most likely they will end up in Avenue 3. I mean, this is a bit imaginary, but I think it brings out the point of what is data mining. Or another example is if I just do a web search on just type Amazon. So I don't really, what do you think is the result that I will get? Okay, I have Amazon, the bookstore, right? Amazon, rainforest, and so on. Okay, so actually, when we do a data mining, we also have something in mind, a context in mind, right? So if I want to look out for Amazon rainforest, probably I will have to type Amazon rainforest and so on. Okay, so there's a context to it. Okay. So we are hopefully through data mining, we can get some information, okay, rather than just data. Okay, a quick one. I think we have seen this, right? The information intelligence hierarchy, how we try to derive data into knowledge so that we can get insight. That's our wisdom. A quick one, if you have forgotten, so example would be like, data will be like meaningless symbols, and then if we organize the data into a certain way, we can get some meaning, and then we try to correlate the information, we may get some insight or what patterns there's relationship, certain relationship, and then we can actually apply it. So the application of knowledge is wisdom. Okay, a quick one. Okay, so we have raw data. I have 2 pairs of data, 2 pairs of numbers. But until I organize them in this way, I can probably see a bit of pattern, and then with the interpretation, the pattern will give us the knowledge that, okay, there's a certain relationship between the 2 variables, x and y. Okay, and that y is twice x. So the pattern allows us to do prediction. So given any value of x, I can predict what is the value of y, right? So that's the application. Okay. Of course, this is a mathematical example. But the concept and the principles are the same in any predictive analytics. Okay, let's talk about the source. Yes. Yes. Someone asking a question?
No, just okay. Saying okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I just mentioned a bit about where do we get sources for data mining. Later, okay, at the lesson 3, we will touch briefly on how we collect data, and we can use the tool from SAS to actually crawl the data. Okay, of course, there are many other tools. So of course, we in a company organization, we have a lot of transactional database, which I mentioned just now. Those are those collect data from our daily transaction. We can actually do a mining from there. Now, it's not just the structured data they are collecting. They are also collecting a lot of unstructured data. For example, sometimes when we call and ask certain questions about in the organization, they'll say, okay, this call is recorded for quality, training purposes. Actually, they translate all this into text. Right, so our voice is being translated to text and stored in the database for analysis, so that they can analyze For example, what kind of complaint that normally customer give, common complaints, identify common complaints, and so on. Yeah. Okay, another source will be the data warehouse. Right. This one I really say, and maybe some other specialized data like GIS data, spatial data, right? And also the text database. Now in the company, you find that especially those customer service company, they have a lot of this text database because they receive a lot of company feedback, customer feedback. And even in our normal organization, our emails, we can in the email database, right? We can do a text mining on that as well. Okay, so you find that in the organization, the unstructured data is actually about 80%. Okay, structured data is about 20%. We'll talk about that later on. Okay, then we have multimedia database. Now, this is also part of unstructured data. So where we analyze the video, the audio, right? All this can be analyzed. We can have analytics on all this kind of data. Okay, or as I say, from the internet. Okay, we can mine from social media, blogs, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. Because, for example, a company launch a product, as I mentioned just now, those users will tend to exchange opinions, feedback with one another. So if there's no security, many of us doesn't know how to put the security on Instagram or Facebook. We can actually crawl those personal users' Facebook and get their comments on some of the products that's been launched, right? And those are actually very useful. Okay, so we mentioned about how the data sources for data mining. So when I talk about data mining, it includes the text mining, all right? Just remember that. So we also talk about the different kind of data in the organization, structured and unstructured. So structured data, as the word identify itself, is that it has a certain structure. The data are framed into a certain structure, and the common one, of course, is our Excel spreadsheet. Of course, there are others like XML document. You can, because they have all the text, right? The text, certain data are enclosed in the certain text. They also give us a kind of structure. So structured data is easily searched, okay? Because they are organized. You can create index to search for them and so on. So it cut down the searching time. Okay, but when we come to unstructured, it's quite hard. So when we talk about unstructured data, we are talking about not just text. We are referring to any data there's no identifier structure. Include the images, video, emails, and so on. So 80% of the, as I mentioned just now, 80% of organization structure is data is actually unstructured. Can you all hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. Sorry for asking that question because off and on my message power says that my quality network is not very good. Okay, I want to briefly talk about this data mining methodology. I think Rudy has covered this, but I will just cover it again because it applies to text mining as well. Okay, this is a common methodology in the company, in the organization, which are involved in data analytics. But it may come in different names and different variation of the methodology. But in any methodology, it probably had to go through the same kind of activities and tasks. So I just briefly go through. So of course, like any other project, right? We start with business requirements. Now, in data analytics, the business requirement is in terms of defining the business question, right? So in the BI module, right, you have some understanding of how the business questions are crafted. Normally, there is a measure and there's a dimensions. Okay, for example, just a simple example. What is the profit of the sales for the last 2 years for each branch? So in that business question, there is the one to analyze, which is the profit, and how we are going to analyze, which is the year, the last 2 years, and the branch. So there are two dimensions there. Now, I'm mentioning this because in your project, in your BA project, you actually have to go through this method. The first thing that you do is to really identify the scope of your project by defining those business questions that you're trying to answer in your business analytics project. Okay. So unless the business questions are very clear, you find that it's quite hard to decide, okay, what data to use or what data to identify and what data analysis techniques to use, okay, in the analysis.
We can't hear you as clearly. Can anyone hear him?
Okay. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Beside you, anybody else? Can someone respond?
Yeah.
It's better now.
Here, I can hear.
Yeah, thank you. It's a bit strange to me. Okay. So the business requirement is quite important because once you have crafted your business question carefully, then you will know how to identify what kind of data to use, what type of data, what data source to use. Remember the information hierarchy. The starting point is the data. Okay. So sometimes we are not able to, although we have the business question, but we're not able to get the data, then therefore we cannot do the analysis. Okay, so we have to go back to the user and ask them to maybe reframe their business question. Now, once we identify the data, we do the preparation. Here, preparation includes, cleansing, reformatting, do aggregation or change of data type. Okay, so we may throw some away. We may fill in the missing fields with certain reasonable default values and so on. Now, so once the data is cleansed, they are ready for train. We call it train the model, all right? Train the model. So in this modeling, you are either using different techniques like decision tree, logistic regression in the case of structured, or regression. Right? Okay, so in text, you can use decision to, or you can use clustering, text topic, or you can do topic categorization, document classification, all those things, right? And once the model is built, of course, inside you have different variations in the model, and then you, based on certain metric, you choose the right one and then do evaluation. Okay, and you deploy it. So it's a common sense kind of cycle, but sometimes we do miss out. Okay. If you ask me from my industry experience, I think the starting point is very important. Okay, the common mistake that we make is that we didn't define the business question carefully, so that by the time we come to deployment, which means that the user actually receive the reports which contains the information they would like to see, they actually didn't actually, sometimes they don't even actually get what they actually ask for in terms of information. And the data use and the technique use are all a bit wrong, you see. Not wrong, but it's driven by the question. Okay. So this is the model. So I'm actually run through all this already. So let's go to text mining. Please. Maybe I just play a video. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, can you see the video just now?
No, I think you have to change your screen
Can you
again.
see? Can so because I actually stopped the video and just want to ask you all whether you can see the video.
No, we cannot see. You have to change your screen again. Yeah.
Or you can't see the video just now, is it?
Cannot.
Okay. That means I have to unshare.
I think like you need to share the whole desktop instead of just the MS Team window.
So this is my whole desktop, right?
Now it's okay.
Can you see now?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay.
Yes, we can see. Yeah. As
Okay,
in the
good.
video, is it? What? No, we only can see your folder.
Sorry, can you see now? Can you see the video now?
No, we
can't
see your
the,
folder.
You see the folder. I think it's you need to share your whole desktop instead of the MS screen.
Okay. Am I sharing my whole desktop now? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I saw the folder only.
So how do I share my whole desktop? Can you see my clicking?
Yeah, I see your clicking.
So that's my whole desktop, right?
I think it's.
I don't think it's your whole desktop.
You don't think so, is it? Okay.
So when you try to share,
Try to minimize first.
no, after you click the share button, I think
Yeah.
far left upper side, it by default is the I think sharing the desktop option.
Oh.
So when you click the share button, do you
Oh,
see
yeah,
a lot
yeah, I
of
saw it.
windows?
Okay. Yeah, I have it. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, first time using it. Or
No problem. Yeah, I think we are seeing your desktop. Yes.
yeah. So can you see the video now?
Yeah,
Yes.
now can see.
Can you see the video now?
Yeah, can see.
Hello, can you see the video now?
Yes, I can see introduction and text mining video series.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The video got no sound. It's just slides only.
Sorry?
The video got no sound.
Oh, no
just-
sound. No, have sound, have sound.
Can't hear the sound.
You can't hear the sound, eh?
Yeah, we only see like slide presentation.
No, we can't hear. I think we just take a look at this video on my own. Lah.
Give us a link, just take a look. WhatsApp us the link. You can take a look later on.
Okay. All right. If we take a 5 to 10 minutes break, is that okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Yeah. So we start in 10 minutes time, yeah.
thing I did while I was there was lots of social media group that supports customer service and social media channels. And that was really the first exposure to text. Text mining is that is very problem. I will. I'm not gonna say that too early.
Information extraction is another instance where it says you want to put entities in a text, the relations between them. And there is a query or a goal.
Okay, is everybody back?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, let's start. Okay, what I'll do is I probably will upload the video audio, and you can access it, correct? Or if I can find the link, I will send you the link. Is that okay? Okay, can we start? Is everybody there?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay. Okay, let's briefly give an overview what is text mining. So we have mentioned about data mining. So data mining is just a more specific area text mining is just an application of data mining. All right. So the data can be, when you talk about data mining, it can be structured and unstructured. But here we focus on the unstructured text. How do we mine text? Okay. So in general, the data mining refer to any system that analyze a large quantity of natural language text and detects the linguistic lexical patterns in an attempt to extract information. Okay, in simple language, it means that, for example, if I have 1 million documents, all right? Now you don't expect me to read through all those text documents. So what we really want is to find out exactly what, or rather to get an idea of what are the main information that is being conveyed through those text documents, right? So we are not going to analyze word by word, but we are going to get the information in terms of, for example, the topics that has been discussed in those pile of text documents, or any particular, or can I, for example, identify categories of information in those text or documents. For example, it may be related to sports as well as health and so on. All right. So to do that, we need to really do a lot of data preparation, right? Which we'll discuss later in a subsequent lesson. Oh, how come my Tableau is up? Okay, text mining, sometimes we also call it text analysis. It's a process of transforming unstructured text data into meaningful and action information. So the same thing as what I just said. At the end of the day is what information can I get? And the information must be meaningful enough for me to make a decision. Okay. So I just want to clarify the two terms. Many times we use the term text mining and text analytics. So is there really a difference? Okay. In the industry, they don't really bother lah. But as I say in our academic discussion, we try to differentiate so that we can be more specific. So when we talk about mining, the concept of mining, remember, it is a process of searching, collection, cleansing, transformation, right? So this is getting the data, the text data, put them in the suitable form, ready for analysis, right? So this is a process like doing a gold mine, right? You need to mine a lot of data and then extract those extract the gold from that chunk of soil that we actually dig up. So when I talk about analytics, it is the process of analyzing the structured form. So mining actually transform the unstructured data into a structured way, and the result of which we use it for analysis, right? But we tend to combine these two together and call it either text mining or text analytics. Okay. So in this module, we will use text mining to include text mining and text analytics, just for clarity. So the mining, in text mining, in data mining, we are looking for patterns. In text mining, we are looking for, we are actually applying, using the text mining technique, right, to apply to unstructured data like text. Now, so in the analysis of text data, the data are actually transformed to a structured way. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, before it can be mined using the data mining techniques. So there are many ways to do the transformation. Okay, one of the simplest way is to do, for example, to count is a frequency count, right? Basically, it's a frequency count in each documents. So, for example, I have, just 10 documents, and we count how many same words appears in each document, right? So we use WorkNet, for example, to do the count, frequency count. So this is a very simple way of transforming it into a structured way. But of course, we know that this is not the efficient way. We have other ways of doing it, right? So, for example, in this small table here, here in this case, we are not using the frequency count. We're just saying that whether this word appears in the 3 documents, right? So one represents the presence of the word in the document, and 0 represents the absence of the word. So the column here represent the words. The row here represent the document. Okay, document 1, document 2, document 3, document 4. So in document 1, we see that. So the word company only appears in document 2 and 3. and so on. Okay, the word income appears only in document 1 and 3 and so on. So this is what I mean by transforming unstructured to structured. This is just one very simple way, right? Just to give us an idea of what we mean by transforming from unstructured to structured form. But of course, this is not the best way. What we want is that at the end of the day, after the transformation to a structured form of the text, we still want to maintain the essence of what the original text is all about. That means to say that even though, for example, we have 1,000 text documents, right? In these 1,000 text documents, there may be a few topics that pop up, okay? Information about relating to those few topics. So after transforming that pile of 1,000 documents into a structured form, whichever method that we use, the structured form must still represent the information in the original documents, right? That means retaining so that when we analyze structured form using the data mining techniques, we are also actually mining the original documents because the structured form still contains most of the information in the text documents, the original text documents. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So in short, it means that even though the text form is transformed from unstructured to structured, the essence of the document is not lost. The structure when we put in the structured form. If it's lost, then we can't analyze, right? So this is a very broad idea of the first part, text mining and transformation. So why do text mining, right? As I say, the 80% of the company information are not in structured form. For example, your email, all those Microsoft Word documents that you have in your laptop and even in the corporate. You have a lot of forms in the company, a lot of reports. Like for example, in Republic Poly, we send our students out for internship. So at the end of the internship period, the company will give a textual report of the students' performance, what they are good at, what they are not so good at. So actually, it's very useful for the Poly to actually analyze some of these feedback so that we can improve in our curriculum. Okay, but all this information and feedback are actually captured in the qualitative form, that means the text. So I'm sure other company will also have a lot of this kind of texture information, and therefore it's important that these textures information are analyzed as well. Okay, in the video which I probably will send to you, the second video it shows to us how the texture information actually complements the structure information. Okay, let's take an example. Now, when you go for a course, right, say a 2 days course or 3 days course, at the end, normally they ask you to do a survey, right? The feedback of the course. Of course, the first few questions could be very structured. Okay, they ask you a questions and then they say, yeah, choose one of the categories, very good to poor. Maybe there are 5 categories. So these are a structured way of getting the feedback. But there will be also a section on free text. That means you write other information in text form. Now, in many companies who are doing training, they don't really have the capacity to analyze the unstructured the text information that is in the feedback form. So they actually lose out a lot of useful feedback. Okay. So now there are systems that will actually help us this. So text mining can be used to analyze some of this qualitative information in the company, and you find that actually they are very helpful. Okay, but a lot of companies don't have the capacity to do that because they're already coping up with their 20% of the structured data. So this area of text mining actually is still very new to the company, right? Even though there's a lot of literature on that, but not many companies actually embark on text mining in their organization. And the second reason why text mining will become very hot is that because the text now can be created can be transformed into a digital form, right? You probably now you don't really need. Okay, say supposing I have written something on a paper, I can actually transform this into a digital form, right? There are technology to do that. So once you capture in the digital form, it's quite easy to analyze, right? You don't have to retype your text and so on. So that is the motivation why people are now embarking on text mining. Okay. And also just now I did mention by analyzing the text, right, in conjunction with the structured data, it provides a better outcome for business decision. Okay, the textual feedback of a survey will give additional insight to the structured data collected from the Likert scale response form. Okay, most of the time when we go to attend a course, for example, we will have the Likert scale count response form to fill in. Now over here there is a video. I'll just play, but I will just roughly let you see what video it is, and then I will just close it. If there's no sound again, then I'll send you the video, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Yeah, you see the website is a semi-structured text document.
The website semi-structured, yeah.
Like
because the website they have when you crawl the data, they have those tags, right? HTML tags that define a certain structure. Yeah.
It means this is also easier to mine.
Because you have okay, it's easier to analyze. Mining is easier to mine in the sense that yeah, there are certain tags that help us to, for example, the HTML. There are certain tags to help us to identify the starting and the ending of a sentence.
Title, head, body.
Yes.
Table.
So, yes, so it's a semi-structure lah. Like HTML document, right? You have all those tags as well, right? The starting tag and the ending tag. So at least that one will help us. In our program, we can, since we know this in advance, in our programming language, we can actually factor this in, and that will help us in identifying the beginning of a sentence, and the ending of a sentence.
But now most companies use ASP, PHP, so you really can't read the scripts.
Same lah. I think in any language there is this tag. Even the scripting. Yeah. But anyway, in text mining, after we download, for example, I download a HTML page, right? In the parsing stage, we will have to remove all these tags because it doesn't give us any valuable information.
remove all the tagging.
Sorry.
Remove all the text, all the tagging, TAG.
Yeah, they will know all the text. The software normally can, nowadays the software can identify all these text tagging here and remove
Right,
them.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll just see whether the video has still any sound. This video actually is quite, it actually bring up this point. If not, then I will send you the video. Huh? Can you hear the sound?
No.
Okay,
No
never mind. So this video is predicting fraudulent claims. So I will send you this video. Okay. All right. So what are some of these text mining applications? There are actually a lot. I'll just give you a few common ones. One is information retrieval. Basically, information retrieval, we'll discuss more detail. All this we'll discuss at the next lesson, the e-learning lesson. Okay, so today just to give you a rough idea. Okay, the word information retrieval is quite self-explanatory. Basically, it's mining documents with relevant content of interest. So, for example, you do a Google search, right? You type in a certain keywords. What you're doing is actually information retrieval. So what you get back is all those documents that relates to your keyword. Okay, so that is an exercise of information retrieval. Behind, after you type in, you key in at the Google search, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scene, right? The algorithm, the program will actually take your keyword and then go through some Google proprietary algorithm and then retrieve out based on their certain criteria, the certain ranking of documents that is relevant to your search. Another application is document categorization for organizing. Okay, this is basically putting documents into categories. One very clear example is your email, right? Now in our Microsoft email, what can we do? We can create folders and then we can create rules that will help us to filter so that email that comes in, they automatically go into the relevant folders. So this is just we have been doing it, just that we don't realize that we actually using some text mining to do it. Okay. But on a larger scale, for example, I have millions of documents. It's possible to read every one of them, but I want to categorize them. So I can actually use mining to split them in different categories after processing, doing all the data preparation, right? Or we'll be thinking on clustering. So how do clustering helps us to identify similar documents and cluster them into distinct groups of documents. Anomaly detection, identify unusual documents that might associate with cases requiring special handling. Okay, so for example, the company may receive thousands of customer feedback every day. So you want to really identify those feedback that really requires attention, right? Okay. So it can be done in this way. Sentiment analysis, which I mentioned just now, is to finding out the polarity either positive, negative, or neutral feelings about documents. Now, when we write something on the text, do you realize that we actually share our sentiment as well through the language that we use? So, for example, you know, if I write something like good, G-O-D, it sounds very neutral, but the moment I put a question mark there, G-O-D, question mark, I'm conveying something. I actually show some of my sentiments, right? For example, it could be a response to about a certain product, then you say good with a question mark. So you're conveying not just literally the literal meaning of good, we're actually saying that actually it's a negative kind of feeling. Right? So we do convey our feelings, our sentiments through the text that we write. So it's actually we can actually extract some of these sentiments.
But this requires some intelligence, right? For example, I say not bad. Not bad actually. Not bad is good, right? So sometimes we analyze a phrase or just a word.
Yes.
Not bad is actually good, actually. It's not bad.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely correct. So in text, so when we do text mining or text analysis, including sentiment analysis, we have to look into the context in which the word actually appears, right? You know that certain words in certain contexts has a different meaning. Am I right? Yeah. So we'll be looking at all this in our last two. There are two topics on this. And basically, we are looking at two ways of sentiment analysis. One is at a high level. That means I give you a document, I give you a pile of documents. Generally, what is the document? Is it positive or negative? And the other one is looking at the topic documents. For example, I launch a product, say TV or television, right? So high level sentiment analysis will be okay, people say in general the TV is good very light, the screen is very thin, I can just hang it, But we can also analyze at the feature level. Is the wrong location. The location of
can hear you. Hi, Patsy, we can hear you.
So we can also analyze at that level. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Can you continuously speak so we can?
Yeah. Yeah. Just now I talk about sentiment analysis. In our course here, we'll analyze the sentiment analysis at two levels, right? In two levels, I mean one at the overall level of the documents, the other one at the feature level. Now, what do you mean by that? I just give you an example of just now the TV. If you can't hear me just now. Now, for example, I launched a product of a new model of a television. Okay, and so I receive a lot of feedback. So I can analyze the overall sentiments by saying, okay, people generally either love or hate this TV. But I can also analyze and, for example, okay, generally people don't like how the location of the switch and off button on the TV. People don't like the curved screen of the TV and so on. So at the feature level, so we can analyze sentiments at two different levels. All right. Now there are a lot of other text mining application. Okay. For example, if you have purchased books from or any products from Amazon, right? Okay, you buy something, and then what do they do at the end after you purchase? They also tell you that people who buy this book also buy these items. So how do they get this kind of information? Is to the analysis of the profile of the purchasing, the buyer's purchasing behavior and patterns, all right, and their feedback to the reviews of the book that they purchase. Okay, we do a bit of class exercise here. Just to break the monotony. Now, can you see my screen on this one? Now, what I've given you is some raw data, right? Some raw data. You have the fields of customer ID, point ID, order delivery owner. So it's a set of data. Now, here I just give you a few minutes to just think through. Just take a look. If you are given this set of data, what kind of analysis would you likely to do? Okay, of course, this is what? This is we know that it's structured data, right? Is everybody there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I just give you about maybe 2-3 minutes, and then you think through, and then later we'll just discuss how and what analysis would you like to do for this set of data. This is just a class exercise, no right and wrong. We just want to interact. Yeah. So this is a structured data.
All parents, Mrs. Chan here. In view of the
Okay. Just for fun, for the interaction. So, anybody like to share? How would you analyze? I mean,
Well, which product is popular by order quantity?
okay.
Which product generate the highest profit?
Yes.
Which customer has repeat orders?
Yeah.
Who are the best customer?
Yeah.
Which products have late deliveries?
Yeah. Very good. So, when we look at this structured data, right, our minds are trained, to use to ask a certain thing, because it's very structured. It's quite easy to to ask what and find out what to analyze. So for structured data, the analysis approach is pretty, I mean, I wouldn't say intuitive, but we know what to do, right? So let's say, for example, I have this set of data, right? This set of data is taken from the BI, the Rush, and the Posh. So normally for structured data, which is represented using a spreadsheet, it's quite easy to analyze. So we can have many ways of. We probably will, as mentioned by your classmate, right? You can define the business question quite easily. Okay, we can analyze in different ways. For example, we can analyze, by customers, by region, by location. In this particular example, yeah. So and we can use statistics to represent it and so on. Okay. So that is pretty straightforward for analysis of structured data. But let's say I give you this one, right? Okay, I give you another 3 minutes. You read through this. This is taken from a newspaper report. Then you tell me probably how you going to analyze. It's just an exercise. So no right or wrong answer. So maybe take another 2-3 minutes. Okay. Anyone like to share? When you look at a text like that, for example, so what is the natural, intuitive thing that you want to do in order to analyze?
I think it's about employee by name of Mok Fei Chen, a Malaysian, and then was killed in a road accident.
Yeah.
And then together with some HP employees injured. And then the HP say they will take safety of the employee into account.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard. You must read the whole thing. This probably it's got it's a straight time report. Then the police are investigating on it. But the IO came, then they left already before they left. Four of them spoke to the investigation officer about 10 minutes before they left. The police have arrested 59 years past driver, causing death by rash act. I think it's pretty difficult to analyze. So like you probably need to write a scene, accident, the scene, the date, the time, the person involved.
Anybody would like to try?
Yeah.
Maybe you can. Well, what usually what I would think I would do is that in my simple mind is that I'll strike out the whole article.
Try to change to a new network. Yeah. The next,
Sorry.
can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you
Which,
now.
which song?
Yeah. So what your fellow student said just now was he's trying to summarize, right? Summarize the text.
Summarize and tabulate into like date of
Yeah.
accident, person name, how many
Yeah.
injured. Need to tabulate the data.
Yeah. It's correct. Correct. So actually, unconsciously, when we read a text like this, our mind is actually doing text mining already. Our goal of the text mining is to find what is the gist, what is the key information in the text, right? Yeah. So the goal is actually to extract. So in the achieving of
We cannot hear you. Sorry.
in order to we look out for keywords. For example, in the case of this particular,
Fancy. Yeah, we cannot hear you. You have to repeat again. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can hear you.
But I can't
Okay.
hear. Yeah.
Yep.
I suggest Mr. Ong to use a headphone, earphone, plug into the computer.
Well, you probably have to tell him later when he comes on.
He got a WhatsApp message. He says it's connect by VPN. I think Mr. Ong got WhatsApp. He say my VPN trying to connect. In the home, we use VPN.
So,
Yeah, Eugene, I can hear you. Yeah.
sorry, are you still there?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, my VPN dropped lah. I
Okay.
don't know why. So I got two network in my house. So I just trying to connect to the one that is less used. Okay, so you can see my screen, right?
No, we can't see your
Yes,
screen.
we can see your screen.
Yeah. So you find if you are given at least the text document. So what we intuitively what we actually try to do was trying to summarize it, right? To summarize to get the gist of the information from the text. The data.
I think we didn't
text
connect here.
analysis.
We lost your
Okay.
voice.
All right. Can you hear me?
Okay, now yeah, now I can.
Okay. So
Screen show
I'm
bad
sorry
network
about that.
quality. The bad
Sorry?
network quality something appear. Your desktop show bad network quality. Yeah. On and off.
Yeah. That's why I don't know why. I just in fact I just asked the Singtel man to come and mesh it. No, mesh it. Yeah. I'll check again later on. Just bear with me. So if I lost, I will text you through the WhatsApps. Okay, that's anyway. We're going to finish quite soon.
All right.
So what I'm trying to say here, when you come to text analysis, the approach we use is very different. So we normally look at the text and then we try to summarize it. When you say we summarize it, we try to get the gist out of it, the essence. So the way to do it, I actually looks for keywords, and we try to connect the keywords. We also look for entities. For example, this particular text, okay, we know that the entities are the woman is involved. And maybe she's a Malaysian, and then the belongs to Haiti, she's an employee, and so on. So we want to when look at the text like that, we want to know who is involved, what is involved, how is involved, and why is probably right. So trying to summarize it, and in the process of summarizing it, we only look at certain keywords and we throw away all the other words that we ignore all the other words that is not important, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that the approach of text mining and analysis is very different from the structured one. In the structured one, it's quite easy. We use all the values that's given to us and bind the text. So actually, when we are reading a text, our mind is actually doing some text mining processes, right? So this is what but now we are going to translate what our mind is processing by letting the computer do it for us, right? So that we get the same kind of, for example, summary at the end of a text document, and not just one, but maybe millions of documents that come to us because it's now machine learned, you see, right? So this is something that is quite challenging because we know that text or qualitative is quite different from structured. Structured, the interpretation is black and white, right? But for text, for example, involve language, involve the meaning, involve the syntax and semantics, you see? Okay, where different word can mean the same thing, or one word, the same word in different contexts can mean different thing. Okay, so we're going to look into all this in our later modules as we come to the data preparation part, how we prepare text data for mining. Okay, so just a quick one, then we'll finish it. So basically, we are at a very high level in the data preparation. We actually transform the unstructured data like text into a structured data so that we can mine. So the transformation that we've seen a small example just now. This is another example. So the first step is to create a document term matrix, and there are many ways to do that. Okay, when you put the bank of words, when you put the words into a matrix, will become a structured form. All right, for example, like this. All right, so I have this document, this article here. So one way is to represent the document by a matrix. All right, so the words here are the words taken from the the text. And the numbers here, again, it's a very simplistic way of transformation. But later we find, in the later lessons, we find that actually this is not the right way. Okay. So the essence is this: once I transform from this to this form into structural form, the challenge is, do I still retain the essence of the information as the original? All right. So during this transformation, one thing that we'll bear in mind is that no matter what method we use, at the end, the information that is represented by the matrix, which is a structural form, must still be as much as the same as the original form. Otherwise, lose the information. Okay, so again, this is something that we look at in our text mining lessons. All right, so we are almost coming at the end. So we have done all this today. It's just a quick summary. We are looking at what is data mining, data sources, the technology, and why do we do text mining analytics. And I really apologize for the Now, do you have any question? Now, if you see this slide in your notes, ignore this is supposed to be for the next lesson, but we are not going to use this in mono. We are going to continue to use the MS. So the next lesson will be the e-learning. I will probably publish it once it's approved, because we need to send our materials for approval. I'll publish it on Wednesday, try to Wednesday, and then I'll still be online, but I won't be doing any teaching. Okay, you can go through the materials yourself. Even if you want to go through earlier, it's fine with me. And then if there's any question, you can just check with me online for the next lesson. Okay, anything that you want to ask?
No questions for me. Yeah.
How about the others?
Yeah, not from me. Thank you.
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, we'll try again a better one at the next lesson. Okay, in terms of the connectivity. Yeah. But let me know you can email to me if you have any question. All right, I'll try to reply you through the email.
Yep, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So all right, sleep tight, stay safe.
Who else you want to take attendance?
Yeah, who is not here? Maybe easier. Who is not here? I can see most of you here. Yeah.